Loweville head coach Andrew Mamula. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today on Running Point.
Well, thank you for having me.
Coach, I mean, this is a great matchup tonight, and I don't want to waste any time before we jump right into it. So let's look at this matchup too with Mineral Ridge. As I think everyone's going to be looking at both Vinny Ballone and Mark Bunch tonight, as it's going to be a fun quarterback matchup. But talk to me a little bit about what you're going to need to do defensively to try to stop Mark Bunch and come away with the victory here for the Rockets.
Well, they're one of the few teams we play that's willing to throw the deep ball. I mean, Coach Shaner, he's somebody that I saw when he was at Niles, and he always had explosive offenses, and he's not afraid to throw the ball deep. And that's going to be our biggest thing is that we've been so run heavy the last few weeks that our safeties have been flying up and doing a great job in their run fits. But now it's almost back to what we were doing in July with our passing scrimmages is that you got to play the pass first. You have to take your steps. Because if not, they're going to hit one over the top. And that's the biggest thing is that we really have to take the deep ball away and make them drive, especially if the weather turns into what we think it might turn into. But Bunch, he's a great player. He's a good runner too. So it's just we always have to, keep an eye on him, especially backside if they're reading it. Our outside backer has to make sure that he's there in position to make a play. So he's definitely somebody we're worried about. But we know which Coach Shanner, he likes to take his shots, and we're going to be – hopefully we're prepared tonight for that.
And here's what I want to talk about with your defense as well. And like you said, last couple of weeks you've been able to commit some safeties to the run game to stop teams that are predominantly run heavy. And now you can't get away with doing that anymore because Middle Ridge is such a deep ball threat. But you still have to stop the run without committing those two safeties and loading it in the box. How much are you going to lean on your defensive line and your linebackers to stop the run without help so you don't have to commit safeties to the run game?
Oh, and absolutely. Our safeties are going to have to be out of the box today. There's no question about it. So that means that, we're lucky that we have a senior, Vinny Lako. He's an inside backer. The amount of improvement from last year to this year is unbelievable. He's been an anchor for us. He has a defensive touchdown, a couple sacks. He leads our team in tackles with near 70. Last year only ended around 50. So he's already outpacing his statistics from last year. So with him, it's just make his reads. We know they like the counter scheme with their quarterback, with their tailback. So it's just, we want to make sure that we're reading our guards, and he's done a great job with that. We have Matt Lucido back. He came back last week. He was out with an injury the previous week. He stepped up as a sophomore for us in the scrimmages. So those two on the inside, they're going to play the run fits, well, hopefully. And then we'll have our outside backers, Brady Bunfofsky, Tino, and our D line, we're senior heavy. We have Max Jones and Anthony Lucido, and these are guys that they do the dirty work. Anthony Lucido takes more double teams than probably anybody in our league, and he doesn't get credit for that, but he's one of the kids that's willing to do that and be unselfish, and that frees up our linebackers like Lako and Matt Lucido to make the play. So we're going to rely on them, and it's up to them to get the stops tonight.
A lot of great dual athletes there over in Lowellville. I've gotten a chance to see a lot of them on the basketball court as well as the football field, and they do a great job on both ends. Talk to me a little bit, though, too, Coach. I mean, we talked a little bit about the quarterback on one end, but Vinny Ballone on your end is a pretty special guy in of himself. Looking at this and looking at the Lowellville community, what does it mean to kind of have this football team back being competitive again in the upper echelon of Division VII with this very talented quarterback leading the way?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It's been over 20 years since we had a chance to win the league. But even then, some of the teams we played reserve, we haven't beaten in 16 years, and we were competitive with them. We couldn't pull out the W. McDonald, we haven't beaten for 19 years, and so it's special to do it. Especially Vinny, he's a kid that his brothers have went through school. One of his brothers is on staff. He played at Mooney, and to be honest, kids this talented typically don't stay in Lowellville. To be completely honest, in the last 30, 40, 50 years that kids this talented we usually don't get to keep because they have better options. So we're blessed that he wants to stay. He has friends here that kids that he relies on, that he likes hanging out with, because he really is a special player, and he can play at a lot of area schools and do just as well there as he's doing for us. So we know how lucky we are, and we want to feature him, but we have some talent that really has stepped up around him with, Brady Bunfofsky we knew, but some of our younger sophomores, even his cousin Michael Ballone, has come through. Another sophomore, Braylon Dabney, one of the fastest kids on our team, if not the fastest. So we're lucky in that sense, and all these younger guys contributing, kind of stepping up where we didn't know what we have is allowing us to compete probably a year earlier than we really thought we could. Because a lot of our skill is coming back next year. And besides Vinny Lako as our tailback, everybody's back. We're going to lose some linemen, which is going to hurt us because, they're the leaders of our team. Like I said, Anthony Lucido, Max Jones, they're kids that in the weight room in the off season really put the work in. So that's going to kill us. But having all these skill back in another year together, it's great. And Vinny Ballone has stepped up running the ball this year. Last year, towards the end of the season, he started to do it, but he's on pace for 10 rushing touchdowns and close to 1,000 yards rushing, and that adds even more to our offense. That now you can't sit two safeties back and deep because we can run the ball and hurt you there.
I want to give a shout out to your offensive line because I think they're so improved from last year. I think outside of that Springfield game, which Springfield's defense gives every offensive line trouble. So no disrespect there. Outside of that Springfield game, they've been giving him a lot of time. They've been letting him improvise back there. And what do you think is the key to there's such quick improvement from last year to this year? I mean, last year we saw Vinny have to use a lot of his improvisation to get mid plays, and this year you guys are able to make a little bit more plays out of design, a little bit more scheme plays because your line's giving him a lot more time.
Well, even last week, if you would have told me we were going to run for more yards than McDonald at the beginning of the season, I said, you're a liar. And we rushed for nearly 300 yards, and we outrushed him by about 30, 40 yards. And it's the work they put in the offseason. Coach Vrabel, my OC, he spent, once a week coming down with just the lineman doing lineman skills, just working on steps, working on our schemes. And that was in February. And he did that every week. We had a mix of turn up, but we always had our seniors and we always had some of our freshman linemen, which we have 2 freshmen starting in Anthony Vrabel and Thomas Dubas. And it's that work that they put in that. I mean, that we're seeing that work starting to finally pay off. And, I credit my coach, Coach Vrabel, but even my line coaches, Coach Minnie, Coach Ballone, the work they've been doing the last few weeks with them. I mean, it's a grind to be an offensive lineman. It's a grind. You don't get the glory. It's the dirty work. I was a lineman and I've coached the line, and these kids are buying into it, and we're starting to see it pay off. In the last few weeks, we've been able to run the ball, and that was something last year that we just couldn't do. And now we have a stable of backs that we trust. We like Lako. We had Mark Dubas last week get his first carries of the year. Tino Rivera, he's come through. So it's really the work that started in the offseason that's finally carrying over. And it's another year in the scheme, and we're starting to add more wrinkles in. And this is the time it needs to pay off because I don't know how many more sunny 70-degree days we're going to get. And we've kind of lucked out with that this year.
This is no doubt going to be a big matchup because it's also going to be at Lowellville. And I want you to highlight the community of Lowellville and how important they are and their support of you guys in these home matchups. But also, what is this I'm hearing about Lowellville concessions and wedding soup happening at Lowellville? So good. You're going to have to give me an insight on these Lowellville concessions that I keep hearing talks about.
Yeah, so our boosters do a great job with it. I think we have the best concession menu in the area, and it really goes back to our Italian heritage. So if you've ever been to Lowellville, you know that there's a pretty big Italian community, and I have family that is Italian descendants as well. So one of the things they like is the wedding soup. So once it starts to get a little colder out there, they'll have the wedding soup cooking. It's some of the best wedding soup in the area. They have chicken parm sandwiches, cavatelli. I mean, it's restaurant quality food for a football game. And when you think it's a Division VII football game with, of a small school that they're doing this every week down here. And last year we were at Struthers and they brought some of the concession stand stuff there, but it wasn't the same. They weren't in their kitchen back there. So to get the extra, we even got an extra home game this year. It's been special because when the wedding soup's on, you smell it, you have a little bowl before the game. It feels good. It feels like football, especially in that October with that cool air. I don't think there's a better place to catch a game. I know our field's not the nicest field in the world, but I'll tell you, there's an atmosphere down there, and when you win, there's a lot better atmosphere, and it provides a lot of support for our kids, and our kids play hard, and they missed it last year. They didn't have that opportunity, and we're starting to see it pay off.
Unfortunately, on the sidelines, you don't get to experience that concession stand. I don't know how tempted I would be to send one of my assistant coaches up real quick and bring down something for halftime.
If it's cold enough, I might send one of my coaches to get some wedding soup for me.
You need a hand signal for wedding soup. So if you do this, it means you'll get wedding soup. Right? So, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on what must be a busy Friday on game day. We appreciate the time. We wish you the best of luck tonight. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Guys, thank you. And like I said, I saw with the last coach, I appreciate the work you're doing featuring high school kids. It's a job that there was an absence of the last few years, and I really appreciate the work you guys do.
Thank you, Coach. That actually means a lot to hear. So We appreciate the work you do as a football coach. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we look forward to talking to you again. Deep playoff run, right? We're going to be talking.
Let's hope. We got to take care of business tonight, but thank you guys.
Yeah. Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.